Hello, and I'm glad you are back and we can go over a new section of our course. But before, have a look at the puzzle today and look at a very simple question. What are the square roots of? And then you're gonna have here a huge square root of 81 equals. What is the answer? There's a tiny trick about this question. I'm gonna show you at the end of the lesson, okay? But maybe during the lesson we're gonna see something about square roots and maybe you can connect. Let's move on, and after the lesson we get back to this puzzle. Today we're gonna work on chapter 8, quadratic equations and functions, and section 8.1, solving quadratic equations by completing the square. Objective 1 is to use the square root property to solve quadratic equations. We previously have used factoring to solve quadratic equations. Remember, I talked to you about the AC methods, and you multiply A times C and find the number, and you check what's the value of B, and you have to find two numbers that you have to guess a few numbers, and kind of a hard work, right? This chapter will introduce you additional methods for solving quadratic equations. Very useful. First thing, we have to learn about square root property. If b is a real number and a squared equals b, then have a look at it. A equals positive or negative square root of b. So the number is going to have two square roots. And as I remember, the only number that doesn't have two square roots is 0, right? 0 equals the square root of 0 is 0. But any other number, if you calculate and the number has a square root, it's not a negative number, then you have the result as positive or negative square root of b. Let's understand this. Example number 1 is x squared equals 49. Find x. We have to find x. That means x equals positive or negative square root of 49, which is positive or negative 7. The answer, x equals negative 7 or x equals 7. This is the answer. Letter B, solve 2x squared equals 4. That means divide both sides by 2, right? Both sides you can divide by 2. X squared equals 2. X equals positive or negative square root of 2. And x equals negative square root of 2 or x equals positive square root of 2. Those are the answers. Okay, so remember about this property, about this definition of square root, that a number is going to be positive square root and a negative square root. As long as this is different from 0, it's not a negative number, and this rule applies. Example number 2. Now we have parentheses y minus 3 squared equals 4. And it's kind of the same way you solve it, because you can apply the square root here, but you have to remember the rule. The number can have two square roots. So y minus 3 equals positive or negative square root of 4. Okay? And that means, and this is positive or negative 2. That means y minus 3 can be equals to negative 2, or y minus 3 can be equals to positive 2. But you can simplify. You can apply additional property of equality, move this negative 3 to the other side, becomes a positive, right? So it's negative 2 plus 3, or y equals 2 plus 3. The answer is y equals 1 or y equals 5. This is the answer to this example. Okay. Another example, parenthesis x plus 2 squared equals 25. Well, same thing. Apply square root and square root here, but positive or negative square root, right? This is x plus 2 equals positive or negative square root of 25, which is equals positive or negative 5. And x plus 2 equals negative 5, or x plus 2 equals positive 5. Apply here the addition property of equality, move this to the other side as a negative, move this to the other side as a negative, negative 2. Okay, so we have x equals negative 5 minus 2, negative 7, or x equals 5 minus 2, 3. Okay, this is the answer. Another example, and also applying square root, and also remember that you can have positive or negative square root as a result. So simplify, and then you have 3x minus 17 equals positive or negative square root of 28. And the square root of 28 is not a perfect square, but we can simplify. We can say 28 equals 4 times 7, and we can say this is equals positive or negative 2 square root of 7, right? So the answer is going to be 3x minus 17 equals negative 2 square root of 7, or 3x minus 17 equals positive 2 square root of 7. Apply addition property, so you're going to move this to the other side, it becomes a positive. Same thing, becomes a positive. And now we have 3x equals negative 2 square root of 7 plus 17, or 3x equals 2 square root of 7 plus 17. Divide both sides here by 3. Each one we're going to divide by 3. Right? Because you simplify, then you're going to find the value for x. So x equals what? And we can write like 17 minus 2 square root of 7 over 3 on the other side. And we have, or x equals 17 plus 2 square root of 7 over 3. Those are the answers. Alright, now let's move to the next objective, number 2, solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Is a new method to find the solution of a quadratic equation. The process of writing a quadratic equation so that one side is a perfect square trinomial, it is called completing the square. It involves creating a trinomial that is perfect square, setting the factor trinomial equal to a constant, and then using the square root property. Let's check how to the step by step. First, if the coefficient of x squared is 1, go straight to step 2. If not, divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient. Isolate all variables on the one side of the equation. Complete the square for the resulting binomial, and factor the resulting perfect square trinomial writing as the square of a binomial. Use the square root property to solve for x. Yes, sometimes it's hard to understand just by reading. That's the reason we will apply on an example. Check this. And y squared plus 6y equals -8. Well, all the variables are already on the left hand side of the equation. We don't need to change. The coefficient of the term that's squared is 1, so it's fine. Just let's go straight to the parts that we have to complete the square. Y squared plus 6y, and we will complete the square. What's missing equals -8. And to balance the equation, we're going to add the same thing here on the other side. Okay? And for that, you need to remember the formula of the perfect square trinomial, which is a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. This is the formula that will help us. A squared is y squared. 2ab is going to be 6 times y. So we need to find b squared. Here is going to be b squared. We need to find b squared. To find b, look at this term here. Because this is supposed to be 2 times a times b, right? So let's write here 2ab equals 6y. But a, we know, is y. Y squared is a squared, a is y. So let's write here a is y. If a is y, 2b equals 6. Okay? 2b equals 6. And that means that b equals 6 divided by 2, 3. Can you see this? B equals 3. If b equals 3, we're going to substitute here b squared. And b squared is equals to 9. B squared is 3 squared, so it is 9. And on the other side, 9 as well. Now look at the expression that we have here. We can write as the formula a plus b squared. A is y, b is 3, squared equals -8 plus 9, 1. And we can solve y plus 3, apply the square root, right? And the square root, plus or minus, y plus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 1 equals plus positive or negative 1. And that means y plus 3 equals -1, or y plus 3 equals positive 1. Y equals -4, or y equals -2. Those are the answers. Next example. Now we have y squared plus y minus 7 equals 0. And we need to move everything that's variable to one side of the equation, everything that's number to the other side of the equation. So we need to have y squared plus y equals, and move this to the other side, we're going to have positive 7. And let's complete the square. So we need to add something here, and to get the equation balanced, we're going to add on the other side as well. Remember the formula, a equals y, and 2ab, a squared equals y squared, right? 2ab equals y. So we need to find b. And we know that a squared equals y, that means a equals y. And that means 2b, 2 times b equals 1, right? 2 times b equals 1, 2 times b is 1. b equals what? 1 over 2. Apply this and complete the square now, because we need b squared to complete it. b squared is 1 over 4. b squared is 1 over 4. So plug in here 1 over 4, plug in here 1 over 4. Okay. Now we can complete the square. On the left hand side we can write as a perfect square, right? Because we have a, we have b of the formula. A of the formula is y, b of the formula is 1 over 2 squared equals to 7 plus 1 over 4. And we can add 7 plus 1 over 4 is 7 times 4, 28, 29 over 4. Apply square root on this side, apply square root on the other side. Is going to be positive or negative, right? Positive or negative. And then you have simplify y plus 1 over 2 equals negative square root of 29 over 4, and y plus 1 over 2, or y plus 1 over 2 equals what? Positive square root of 29 over 4. And the answer is, you can write the answer as, let me borrow some space here at the bottom. I'm going to borrow some space. Y equals negative, and the square root of 29 over 4 is 29 over 2 minus 1. Okay, this positive 1 over 2. We're going to move to the other side as a negative, and then is a negative, or y equals positive 29 plus 1 over 2. All right, and let's move to the next example. Solve by completing the square. Now we have another example. 2x squared plus 14x minus 1 equals 0. And now we have a coefficient in front of the square, of the variable that's squared. The step-by-step suggests us to divide everything, both sides of the equation, by this coefficient, right? So let's divide. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. 14x squared divided by 2 is 7x minus 1 divided by 2 equals 0. Now move everything that doesn't have variable, just the numbers, right, to the other side. And you will have x squared plus 7x. Let's leave some space here. Is 1 over 2. Now we need to complete the square. We need to find b squared to be able to complete the square, right? We know a squared equals x squared. 2ab equals 7x. Since a equals x, we can simplify. 2b equals 7. b equals 7 over 2. And that means b squared equals 49 over 4. plug in on here 49/4, which is b squared, and also here 49/4, and now we can solve. Now we can represent this as a plus b squared, right? And a is x, b is 7/2, and this is squared, equals to what? 1/2 plus 49/4, this is 51/4, okay? Square roots here and there, and remember this is positive or negative, right? Simplify. This can be simplified. This is square root, you can simplify with this square, and then let's have here x plus 7/2 equals positive or negative, and the square root of 51/4 is square root of 51/2. Okay. Nice. Let's let me use this space here. We have x equals, and this will move to the other side with a negative, and we will have positive 51 minus 7/2, or x equals negative square root of 51 minus 7/2. You can write this down as I like to put the negative sign here in front of the fraction, just like that. Okay, so those are the answers. Now let's move to the next objective. Objective number 3: use quadratic equations to solve problems. And example number 8: use the formula a equals p of 1 plus r exponent t to find the interest rate r if the $5,000 compounded annually grows to $5,618 in 2 years. So we just need to apply, understand first the question, right? Read, reread, understand what we need to do. The formula is, let me write again, a equals p 1 plus r exponent t, and p is the principal. This is a very well-known formula. That's you're gonna find the amount is equals to the principal. The principal is this one. This is the money that you invest, the first money that you have before you have the returns for your investment. And this is the rate. The rate is what we want to do. We want to know. We don't know yet. Rate is r, and t is the time. Okay, so you need to understand what this formula means. And this is a very famous formula to calculate compounded interests. Let's apply the numbers we know, because the amount after you got the interest is this, 5,618. The amount before, the first money that you have, the money at the beginning is 5,000, okay, times 1 plus, and we don't know r, we want to find r, and the exponent t. T is 2 years. That means t is 2. So we found this. Now we can solve it and divide both sides here by 5,000. You're going to have, and we can switch sides. 1 plus r squared equals 5,000 5,618 divided by 5,000, we can simplify it. Divide both numerator and denominator by 2, and we have 2,809 over 2,500, right? It's possible to simplify. Apply the square root property that we just learned. Apply square root here and there. Remember that this can be negative or positive. So 1 plus r equals positive or negative square root of 2,809 over square root of 2,500. And this is positive or negative 53 over 50. You can try on your calculator, check if this is right. And then to find r, we can say that r can be, move this 1 to the other side, and r can be 53 over 50 minus 1, or r equals to 53, negative 53 over 50 minus 1. There is a situation. We're going to have two solutions, and r equals 3 over 50, or r equals negative 103 over 50. After you simplify this, that's the answer, the solution you're going to find. But there's a situation, because the rate is interest that you are earning, interest that you are receiving is being paid into your account. So the interest, the rate cannot be negative. So we're going to reject the negative result. The answer is 3 over 50. If you want to answer as a percentage, we can write 3 over 50 as 6 over 100, right? Which is 6%. 6% is going to be the right answer, and this is rejected. Now let's work on our puzzle. What are the square roots of, and then you have square root of 81 equals to question mark. And the trick is the question, first trick, the question is asking plural. What are the square roots? So remember, today we have we learned that every number is going to have at least 2 square roots, one positive, another negative. The only number that doesn't follow this rule is 0, because square root of 0 equals 0, and any other positive number will have 2 square roots. And another little thing that you have to notice here is the question is asking, what are the square roots of square root of 81? So actually, it's asking to apply square root twice. What are the square roots of square root of 81? And this is the little trick that you're going to have on this puzzle, because the answer is going to be the square root, positive or negative, is square root of 81. And you will find out this is equals to positive or negative 3. Those are the answers. Negative 3 or positive 3. Thank you for watching the video, and see you again on the next section.